Welcome to Risk for Generational Wealth. I'm Barrett, and this is 5:30 in the morning. And on today's episode, I would like to just discuss this letter to the Amazon shareholders by Jeff Bezos. So I think this is very profound and very fitting with where we are in society. Differentiation is survival, and the universe wants you to be typical. This is my last annual shareholder letter as the CEO of Amazon, and I have one last thing of utmost importance I feel compelled to teach. I hope all Amazonians take it to heart. Here is a passage from Richard Dawkins' extraordinary book, The Blind Watchmaker. It's about a basic fact of biology. Staving off death is a thing that you have to work at. Left to itself, and that is what it is when it dies, the body tends to revert to a state of equilibrium with its environment. If you measure some quantity, such as temperature, the acidity, the water content, or the electrical potential of a living body, you will typically find that it is marked different from the corresponding measure in the surroundings. Our bodies, for instance, are usually hotter than our surroundings, and in cold climates, they have to work hard to maintain the differential. When we die, the work stops, the temperature differential starts to disappear, and we end up the same temperature as our surroundings. Not all animals work so hard to avoid coming into equilibrium with their surrounding temperature, but all animals do some comparable work. For instance, in a dry country, animals and plants work to maintain the fluid content of their cells, work against the natural tendency for water to flow from them into the dry outside world. If they fail, they die. More generally, if a living thing doesn't work actively to prevent it, they would eventually merge into their surroundings and cease to exist as an autonomous beings. That is what happens when they die. While the passage is not intended as a metaphor, it is nevertheless a fantastic one and is relevant to Amazon. I would argue that it's relevant to all companies and all institutions and to each individual lives too. In what ways does the world pull at you in an attempt to make you normal? How much work does it take to maintain your distinctiveness, to keep alive the thing that makes you special? I know a happily married couple who have a running joke in their relationship. Not infrequently, the husband looks at the wife with a faux distress and says to her, "Can't you just be normal?" They both smile and laugh, and of course the deep truth is that distinctiveness is something he loves about her. But at the same time, it's also true that things would often be easier, take less energy, if we would be a little more normal. This phenomenon happens at scale levels. Democracies are not normal. Tyranny is the historical norm. We stop doing all of the continuous hard work that is needed to maintain our distinctiveness in that regard. We would quickly become into equilibrium with tyranny. We all know that distinctiveness, originality is valuable. We are taught to be yourself. What I'm really asking you to do is to embrace and be realistic about how much energy it takes to maintain that distinctiveness. The world wants you to be typical in 1,000 ways. It pulls at you. Don't let this happen. You have to pay a price for your distinctiveness, and it's worth it. The fairy tale version of be yourself is that all the pain stops as soon as you allow your distinctiveness to shine. That version is misleading. Being yourself is worth it, but don't expect it to be easy or free. You'll have to put energy into it continuously. The world will always try to make Amazon more typical, to bring us into equilibrium with our environment. It will take continuous effort, but we can and must be better than that. So my eyes are a little bad. I need some glasses, so forgive my squinting, but this to me was very impactful because I base a lot of my life, and this channel particularly is based around authenticity and trueness to oneself. Now, I believe that it's one of the most core pillars that we have as humans is the individuality. Your very unique fingerprint that you put out there in the world. And we tend to reject a lot of that, or society has actually taught us to reject a lot of that, because if you look back in olden days when we were cavemen, and if you were too individual or too different, you would have a rock thrown over your head, or you'd be excommunicated from the tribe. So there was real danger in that, you couldn't be too different. But nowadays, we live in a completely different world, and individuality is more celebrated than ever. And what I hope to give you guys today with this episode is embrace who you are, love who you are, all of the faults, all of the small things, the struggle. You may not be where you are or where you want to be, you may not be where you want to be in your life, but you are where you are. And at the end of the day, you have to be appreciative for what you have, where you're at, even if it's just the clothes on your back. And we continue to find a way to build it in this world. With that in mind, signing off, and have a great day, guys.